Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first ever tropical edition of John Cifelli's Weather NJ. I am excited to be here with you, forecasting outside of my wheelhouse, if you will, which of course is winter weather. But not too excited to have to bring the news that I have to say as far as what New Jersey is going to be dealing with over the next 3 or 4 days, as it does look like we are going to be dealing with the worst weather scenario possibly since Hurricane Floyd, or maybe some of the blizzards in the past couple of years, depending on what exactly it is that you define as destructive or catastrophic. But a very significant situation shaping up either way, any way you slice it. This lovely lady to my right here, Hurricane Irene, current maximum sustained winds of 115 miles an hour, located just north of the Bahamas, east of Florida, and unlike Floyd, which I mentioned a moment ago, doesn't look like it's on a track that will cause it to weaken significantly before it does make its impact felt here in New Jersey. We'll get to the track in just a second. First, I want to show the high-res, zoomed-in satellite loop. You can see Florida right here, the Bahamas down here, and on the satellite here you can see the center of circulation pretty well defined. A lot of bands spiraling out away from the center of circulation. The one thing that you can't really make out is a well-defined eye, which is the signature of any very mature and strong hurricane. So there are some factors at play which are keeping Irene from strengthening to a 4 or 5 storm. Point out one of them, the feeder bands here on the southwest side, as they spiral away from the center of circulation, you'll notice if you look very carefully that the tops of the thunderstorms are actually getting blown off. They're getting blown eastward or northward, and that is signifying a bit of a shear environment. So these thunderstorms and showers are getting ripped apart as they make their way south and west away from the center of circulation. Shear is what blows through hurricanes and blows the tops of the storms off, and is indicative of a poor environment if you want to see your storm strengthen. Another thing that I wanted to point out on this loop, I overlaid the temperatures of the water in the southwest Atlantic, 31 Celsius, 30 Celsius, so plenty of fuel for Irene to strengthen with, and if this shear environment abates a bit, we could see those maximum winds bump up a bit above the 115 miles an hour that they are right now. We're going to zoom out a little bit. This is the water vapor loop across the entire western Atlantic, and on the north side, the east side, and to the southeast of Irene, plenty of whites and blues. That's a very moist environment. But again, to the west and to the southwest, black, brown. This is suggesting some dry air, and dry air very close to the center of circulation here, just on the cusp of the Florida Keys and towards Haiti and the Dominican. And some of this dry air is wrapping its way into the storm. You see this white streak right here come ripping through very close to the center of circulation. That's some of this dry air getting wrapped in and weakening Irene a little bit, or at least stalling or delaying the strengthening of her. So despite the fact that for the most part winds are favorable, beautiful outflow here, very strong, well-defined, mature storm on the north side, on the east side, but the south and west are really what's keeping Irene from turning into a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. So thankfully we have that at the moment. This is the current storm track forecast from several global computer models. You have the GFS, Global Forecasting System. The UK Meteorological Office has the European model. The important thing to see here is that almost all of these models do bring Irene near or over New Jersey, and with such a large storm, it really does not matter if the storm is 50 miles off the coast or right over New Jersey. For the vast majority of things, oh, lost it there. For the vast majority of our viewing area, we're going to have a significant storm no matter what. The only difference would be what side of the storm you're on, which would have some impact on how strong your winds are. Typically, the northeast quadrant, or the eastern side of the storm, basically this area here or this area down here, these are the stronger sides of a hurricane. So if Irene's eye does pass to your west, you will get the very worst of the storm. But a bad situation no matter where exactly in New Jersey you're going to be. This is the National Hurricane Center's forecast. M denotes a major hurricane, Category 3 or stronger, and by the time it makes it here, they actually do have Irene coming right over New Jersey, making landfall over Cape May County, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, still a hurricane. That's another difference between Floyd and Irene, is that we are still expecting a hurricane by the time it makes it to New Jersey, whereas Floyd was a tropical storm by the time it made its way this far north. Floyd made landfall here. Actually, I did pull up Floyd's track, and you could see Floyd made landfall just east of the South Carolina-North Carolina border before it moved northeastward. And another difference between the storm, this was 2 o'clock in the morning when it made landfall, and by 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, it was up in Massachusetts. So Floyd was moving real fast. Irene, however, is supposed to make landfall a little bit further east and a little further north, so less time over land, and it will move in 24 hours from central North Carolina coast to New Jersey. So a much slower moving storm. I do think that rainfall totals will be at Floyd levels or maybe even higher, and again, the fact that the winds will be stronger and the storm will be better maintained. The winds will have a much bigger impact than Floyd's did in 1999. Now, why will Irene not recurve out to sea? Why will it not take that storm track that we so often see, where they make their way through the southern Atlantic basin and then move up the coast before reaching the Outer Banks and moving eastward? You have this strong ridge of high pressure, called this the Bermuda High, and another ridge of high pressure here over the central United States, and up here over Greenland, or the Hudson Bay rather, in northern Canada, you have a strong center of low pressure, and you have these series of troughs that are swinging down and helping to beat down this ridge. As we go out in time, you can see this ridge never really expresses itself fully into the Ohio Valley, keeping the height field lower, and really what you see here is Irene just shooting the gap between the two ridges on either side of her. So the steering currents are very favorable for this storm track. It's just no way out. Irene needs to move poleward, and it's not going to move straight through a ridge in either direction. It's going to take the path of least resistance and therefore hug the coast and stay further inland than we usually see. And that's landfall there. And you can see the ridge to the east, ridge to the west, depression to the north, and it's just going to follow that path straight up. This is the wind history with Irene since inception east of the Virgin Islands, and as it goes out in time, you see basically a path of 125 miles across. So from the eye wall, 60 miles east-west, hurricane force winds, which are 74 miles an hour or stronger. So as Irene continues to move further northward, if you're within 50 to 60 miles of that eye wall, you will see the strongest winds, which right now are sustained 70 to 75 miles an hour plus. The orange is tropical storm force winds, which is 35 miles an hour or more. So plenty of indication here that we're going to have a big problem as the eye wall makes its way close to New Jersey. I have the GFS total rainfall forecast for the duration of the storm. This is from when it begins to ends in New Jersey. The yellow is 9 inches plus, so we're looking at close to 10 inches of rain. The NAM, North American model, says much of the same, 8, 9, 10 inches of rain. And of course, these models don't catch small, tiny features like thunderstorms, so the potential for more, especially if Irene does not make her way out of here the way Floyd did, we could see some pretty significant flooding as well. Again, just to wrap up, this is Floyd's path. By the time it made its way to New Jersey, again, the green line is a tropical storm. We are expecting to have a hurricane with Irene this go around, so a very dangerous situation. And if you're in New Jersey, please be smart and do what you need to do. Get a generator, get your sump pump checked, have some food, candles, plan on being without power for some time, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I wish you the very best, and I hope everyone stays safe. And unless we have another very dangerous situation crop up, I don't think I'll be making another forecast for Irene. It's pretty straightforward. You can catch the news on it basically everywhere you turn around at this point, which you should, as it is a very significant situation. So until then, I will see you in the winter. Warm regards. This is John Cifelli signing off.